Life is unpredictable. One moment everything seems to be going well, and the next you're faced with challenges that shake your faith, test your patience, and make you question everything. In those moments, when fear creeps in, when doubt whispers in your ear, when nothing makes sense, there is only one answer. Trust God in every situation. No matter what you face, no matter how uncertain the road ahead may seem, know this: God is in control. He sees what you cannot see, He knows what you do not know, and He is working behind the scenes in ways beyond your understanding. The struggles you are facing are not meant to break you, they are meant to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for something greater. But to step into that greater purpose, you must trust Him, not just when things are easy, but in every situation. Today, I want to remind you that no matter what you are going through, God has not abandoned you. He is with you, guiding you, preparing you, and leading you to the destiny He has planned. The question is, will you trust Him? We live under the illusion that we are in control of our lives, our circumstances, and our future. From the moment we wake up, we plan, we strategize, we predict outcomes, and we convince ourselves that if we do everything right, things will go exactly as we expect. But reality often tells a different story. Plans fall apart, unforeseen challenges arise, and situations shift beyond our control. But why? Because we have been conditioned to believe that control equals security. We believe that if we can just control every aspect of our lives, we will be safe, happy, and successful. But this is a deception. The truth is, real peace, real power, and real security come not from controlling everything, but from surrendering control to God. Think about it. How much of life is actually within your control? You didn't choose when you were born, where you were born, or the family you were born into. You don't control the weather, the economy, or the decisions of other people. You cannot force someone to love you, to stay loyal, or to treat you with kindness. You cannot dictate when opportunities will come or when doors will close. No matter how hard you try, you cannot stop the passing of time, nor can you prevent every hardship or obstacle. So why do we keep living as if we are the masters of everything? The reason is simple: fear. Fear whispers that if we let go, if we stop trying to control every outcome, something bad will happen. Fear convinces us that surrendering control is the same as giving up, but that is the greatest lie of all. Surrendering control is not weakness, it is the ultimate act of faith. It is a declaration that we trust God more than we trust ourselves. And when we trust Him fully, we unlock a freedom that most people never experience. Imagine the weight that would lift from your shoulders if you stopped trying to figure everything out on your own. Imagine the peace you would feel if you truly believed that no matter what happens, God has already made a way for you. Imagine how much more joy you would experience if you weren't constantly stressing about things that were never yours to control in the first place. That is the gift of trusting in God's plan. When we cling to the illusion of control, we block ourselves from the blessings that God wants to pour into our lives. We become so focused on forcing things to happen our way that we miss the divine opportunities unfolding right in front of us. We pray for guidance, but then we resist when the answer doesn't match our expectations. We ask for blessings, but then we refuse to let go of what is holding us back. We say we trust God, but the moment something unexpected happens, we panic and try to take matters into our own hands. But faith does not work that way. Faith is trusting God even when you don't understand. Faith is believing that His plan is better than yours, even when it doesn't make sense. Look at the lives of those who have truly walked in faith. Did they have easy, predictable lives? No. They faced challenges, setbacks, and moments where everything seemed lost. But because they trusted God, they saw miracles happen. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into prison, but he trusted God and became a ruler in Egypt. Moses had no power, no army, and no way to free his people, but he trusted God and led them out of slavery. Lcke believed in God and kept trusting. David was just a shepherd boy facing a giant, but he trusted God and defeated Goliath. Every great victory in history has come not from human control, but from divine intervention. So the question is, do you truly trust God, or are you still trying to do everything on your own? If you are constantly exhausted, anxious, and overwhelmed, it may be a sign that you are trying to control what was never meant to be in your hands. But when you release that control, when you truly surrender and say, God, I trust you completely, everything changes. You will begin to see doors open that you never could have forced open. You will witness situations work out in ways that you never could have orchestrated. You will feel a peace that cannot be shaken because you will know that no matter what happens, you are in God's hands. Let go of the illusion. Release the need to control every detail. Step into the freedom that comes from trusting God in every situation, because when you do, you will realize that He has been in control all along, and His plan is far greater than anything you could have imagined. Fear is the greatest weapon used to manipulate, control, and enslave the human mind. It is a silent force that creeps into our thoughts, distorts our perceptions, and makes us believe in threats that often do not even exist. From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to be afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of the unknown, afraid of losing what we have. And this fear becomes a prison. It dictates our choices, keeps us from taking risks, and holds us back from stepping into the destiny that God has planned for us. But here is the truth they don't want you to realize. Fear has no real power. It only has the power you give it. Faith, on the other hand, is the ultimate force of liberation. It shatters illusions, breaks mental chains, and allows you to see beyond the distractions of this world. Faith is the antidote to fear, and once you embrace it fully, you become unstoppable. Fear is a tool that the world uses to keep you small. Look at the media, the news, and the constant stream of negative information being fed into your mind every single day. They want you to be afraid because fear keeps you dependent. Fear keeps you obedient. Fear keeps you distracted from the real truth, that you were created by God with a purpose far greater than you can imagine. And if you fully trusted Him, if you truly walked in faith instead of fear, every great breakthrough, every miraculous transformation, every extraordinary victory in history happened because someone chose faith over fear. They refused to let fear control them. They chose to believe in something greater than what their eyes could see. And that is the key. Faith is believing even when there is no physical evidence. It is trusting even when every logical reason tells you to doubt. It is moving forward even when fear tries to paralyze you. Fear tells you to stay where you are because stepping out into the unknown is dangerous. Faith tells you that God has already prepared the path ahead. Fear tells you that you are not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. Faith tells you that through God you are more than enough. Fear tells you that if you take a risk, you might fail. Faith tells you that even if you stumble, God will lift you up and use that failure to bring you closer to your destiny. Fear is a liar, and the moment you stop listening to it, you will realize just how much power you actually have. Think about how many opportunities you have missed in life simply because fear whispered, "What if it goes wrong?" How many dreams have you let slip away because fear told you you are not ready? How many moments of joy, love, and success have you denied yourself because fear convinced you to stay small? Fear is not just an emotion, it is a strategy designed to keep you from becoming who God created you to be. And the only way to defeat it is to replace it with faith. Faith does not mean that you will never feel fear again. It means that you will no longer allow fear to control your decisions. It means that when fear comes knocking, you will answer with unwavering trust in God's plan. It means that instead of being intimidated by challenges, you will see them as opportunities to grow stronger. It means God has promised that He will never leave you nor forsake you. That means that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult things may seem, you are never alone. But you must choose to believe that. You must choose to walk in faith, even when the path ahead is unclear. You must choose to trust that God's plan is greater than your fears, because the moment you do, everything changes. When you live in fear, you live in a constant state of survival. You are always on edge, always second guessing, always expecting the worst. But when you live in faith, you live in a state of victory. You wake up each day knowing that whatever comes your way, God is already working it out for your good. You stop wasting time worrying about things that are out of your control. You stop hesitating and start taking bold steps toward your purpose. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones. That is the power of faith. Fear will always try to creep back in. It will disguise itself as logic, as common sense, as concern, but you must recognize it for what it is and reject it. You must make a conscious decision every single day to choose faith over fear, because the moment you do, you step into a level of freedom that most people will never experience. The world may try to control you, circumstances may try to shake you, but when you are rooted in faith, nothing can break you. You are no longer a victim of fear, you become a warrior of faith. And when you walk in faith, you walk in power. The power to overcome, the power to rise above, the power to fulfill the purpose God has placed on your life. Fear will try to hold you back, but faith will always lead you forward. Choose faith, choose freedom, choose to trust God in every situation. Life is full of challenges, setbacks and hardships that test our patience, strength and resilience. These moments of struggle can feel overwhelming, as if the entire world is against us. When things don't go as planned, it is easy to fall into frustration, doubt, or even despair. We ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? But what if I told you that every struggle, every obstacle, every difficult moment is not meant to break you, but to build you? What if I told you that these challenges are not punishments, but tests? Spiritual tests designed to bring you closer to God and to strengthen your faith. In the middle of hardships, it is hard to see the bigger picture. We focus on the immediate pain, the disappointment, the fear of the unknown. But if we step back and look beyond the surface, we begin to realize that every trial carries a lesson, every setback hides a blessing, and every struggle is an opportunity to grow. God does not allow challenges in your life to destroy you. He allows them to refine you, to shape you, and to prepare you for something greater. For example, if your mother, just like fire purifies gold, trials purify your faith, burning away doubt, weakness, and fear so that your spirit emerges stronger than before. Think about the people who have achieved great things in life. Did they walk an easy path? No. They faced difficulties, failures, betrayals, and moments of complete uncertainty. But instead of giving up, they chose to trust the process. They understood that what seemed like obstacles were actually stepping stones leading them to their destiny. The same is true for you. What you are going through right now may not make sense, but one day you will look back and realize that every struggle was necessary to prepare you for what is coming. The challenges you face are not random. They are carefully placed in your path for a reason. Maybe you are struggling financially and it feels like no matter how hard you work, you can't get ahead. But perhaps this challenge is teaching you patience, discipline, and the wisdom to manage greater wealth when it comes. Maybe you are facing rejection, feeling abandoned or betrayed by people you trusted. But perhaps this pain is showing you who truly belongs in your life, helping you let go of the wrong people so that the right ones can come in. Maybe you are experiencing loss, heartbreak, or failure, and it feels like everything is falling apart. But maybe this moment is not the end. It is the beginning of something new, something better than you could have imagined. God's greatest warriors are not those who have never faced hardship. They are the ones who have walked through fire and refused to be consumed by it. They are the ones who, despite pain, disappointment, and uncertainty, chose to keep going. They are the ones who, when faced with fear, chose faith instead. And you are one of them. No matter how difficult things may seem right now, no matter how dark the road ahead appears, know this: you are being prepared for something greater. Every challenge is shaping you, strengthening you, and equipping you for the blessings that are coming your way. It is easy to trust God when everything is going well, but true faith is tested in the storms. Do you still trust Him when things don't go as planned? Do you still believe in His promises when the road gets rough? Do you still have faith when the breakthrough seems far away? These are the moments that define you. These are the moments where your trust in God is tested, not so that He can see how strong your faith is, but so that you can see it for yourself. In every challenge, you have two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can see it as a punishment, or you can see it as preparation. You can allow fear and doubt to take over, or you can choose to stand firm in faith. When you begin to see your struggles as spiritual tests, everything changes. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances. You begin So whatever you are facing today, do not lose hope. Do not allow fear to control you. Do not believe the lie that your struggles mean God has forgotten you. He has not forgotten you. He is strengthening you. He is refining you. He is refining you. And when the time is right, when you have been shaped into the person you were meant to be, you will see that every struggle had a purpose. You will understand that the delays were not denials. The setbacks were not failures, and the pain was not in vain. You will realize that God was always with you, guiding you, teaching you, and leading you to something greater. The test you are facing today is not the end of your story. It is simply a chapter in the journey toward your destiny. Trust the process, trust the lessons, and most importantly, trust God, because He is always working even when you cannot see it. And when you pass the test, when you come out on the other side stronger and wiser, you will know that every challenge was worth it. We live in a world that thrives on urgency. Everything is about speed, fast results, instant success, immediate gratification. We have been conditioned to believe that if something doesn't happen right away, then it won't happen at all. When we pray, we want an answer now. When we dream, we want to see it fulfilled immediately. When we work hard, we expect to reap the rewards without delay. And when things take longer than we expected, frustration begins to creep in. We start questioning everything, ourselves, our abilities, and even God's plan. We wonder if we have been forgotten, if we did something wrong, or if the opportunity has passed us by. But what we fail to see in those moments is that God's timing is always perfect. What may seem like a delay to us is never a delay to God. His timing is not based on human schedules, earthly deadlines, or our personal expectations. His plan operates beyond what we can see, beyond what we can understand, and beyond what we think is best. Sometimes we ask for something and it doesn't come right away. Sometimes we push for an opportunity that doesn't open, not because we are unworthy, but because it isn't the right time yet. We forget that every season serves a purpose, and rushing ahead before the time is right can do more harm than good. Think of a seed planted in the ground. When you bury a seed, you do not see immediate results. Days, weeks, even months may pass without any visible sign of growth. If you are impatient, you might assume the seed is dead, that nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the seed is transforming. Roots are spreading, strength is being built, the foundation is being laid, and when the time is right, that seed will break through the soil and grow into something beautiful. The same is true for your life. Just because you do not see immediate progress does not mean nothing is happening. God is working behind the scenes. He is aligning circumstances, shaping your character, and preparing you for what is coming. One of the greatest challenges we face is trusting in divine timing when everything around us seems to be moving forward. We look at others who are succeeding, who are reaching milestones, who seem to be living the life we desire, and we start to wonder, why not me? Why am I still waiting? But comparison is a dangerous trap. Your journey is your own, and no two paths are the same. Just because someone else received their blessing now does not mean yours is not on the way. Just because someone else's door opened today does not mean yours will never open. God is not in a hurry, but He is always on time. The danger of impatience is that it can lead us to make decisions out of frustration rather than faith. When we do not trust God's timing, we may try to force things to happen on our own. We may settle for less than what we deserve simply because we are tired of waiting. We may take shortcuts, compromise our values, or make choices that bring temporary satisfaction but long-term regret. But God is not making you wait to hurt you. He is making you wait to prepare you. If you receive something before you are ready, you may not be able to handle it properly. If you step into an opportunity too soon, you may not have the wisdom or maturity to sustain it. What looks like a delay is actually divine alignment. Faith is not just believing that God will fulfill His promises, it is trusting that He will do it at the right time. When you truly embrace divine timing, you stop stressing over things beyond your control. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes and instead focus on preparing yourself. You use the waiting season to grow, to learn, to build your character, and to deepen your faith. You do not waste energy worrying about when things will happen, because you know that when the time is right, nothing can stop the blessings that are meant for you. Every great story in history is built on divine timing. Joseph spent years in prison before stepping into his destiny as a ruler. David was anointed as king long before he actually took the throne. Sarah waited decades before she finally had the child God had promised her. Each of them probably had moments of doubt, moments where they wondered if God had forgotten them. But when the time was right, everything changed in an instant, and the same will happen for you. So if you are in a waiting season, do not lose faith. Do not let impatience lead you away from the path God has prepared for you. Trust that every delay has a purpose, that every closed door is protecting you from something that is not meant for you, and that when the time is right, everything will fall into place in ways you never could have imagined. What God has planned for you is worth the wait. Keep believing, keep trusting, and most importantly, keep moving forward with faith, knowing that God's timing is always perfect. Faith is not just something you believe in your mind, it is something you live with every step you take. Trusting God in every situation is not just about saying you believe, it's about acting like you believe. It's easy to say you have faith when life is going well, when everything is falling into place, when the path ahead is clear. But what happens when the road is uncertain, when challenges arise, when nothing seems to be working in your favor? That is when true faith is tested. That is when you must walk, even when you cannot see the destination. That is when you must move forward, even when fear tells you to stop. Faith is not about waiting for every detail to be in place before taking action. It is about stepping out, even when the outcome is unknown. Too many people sit on the sidelines of life, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for a sign, waiting for everything to feel safe before they take the first step. But faith does not work that way. If you wait until you feel completely ready, until you have absolute certainty, until every doubt is gone, you will never move forward. Faith is walking in obedience before the path is fully revealed. It is trusting that God has already made a way, even when you cannot see it yet. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, he did not wait until the waves were calm. He did not wait until he had proof that it would work. He simply stepped out in faith, trusting that if Jesus called him, he would not sink. That is the kind of faith that changes lives. That is the kind of faith that leads to miracles. But what happened when Peter took his eyes off Jesus? He started looking at the wind, the waves, the storm around him. Fear crept in, doubt took hold, and he began to sink. The moment you shift your focus from God to your circumstances, fear will take over. The moment you stop trusting and start doubting, you will begin to sink. But even then, Jesus reached out his hand and pulled Peter back up. Because that is what God does. Even when our faith wavers, even when we fall, he never lets us go. The enemy wants to keep you paralyzed by fear. He wants you to hesitate, to second guess, to question whether you are capable, whether you are worthy, whether you will succeed. If he can keep you stuck in doubt, he can stop you from stepping into the purpose God has for you. But when you move in faith, when you step out in obedience despite fear, you break free from the limitations that have held you back. You step into a new level of strength, confidence, and divine alignment. Think about the dreams and desires God has placed in your heart. What is stopping you from pursuing them? Is it fear of failure? Is it the opinions of others? Is it the voice in your mind telling you that you are not ready? If you wait until you feel completely fearless, you will wait forever. Faith does not mean the absence of fear. It means not letting fear control you. It means making the decision to trust God more than you trust your fears. There will be moments when everything in you wants to turn back, when the challenges seem too great, when the opposition feels too strong, when the journey ahead looks impossible. But faith is pushing forward even when the road is tough. Faith is standing firm when everything around you is shaking. Faith is declaring victory even before you see the result. God never promised that the journey would be easy, but he did promise that he would be with you every step of the way. He promised that he would strengthen you, guide you, and provide for you. But you must take the first step. You must be willing to move forward, even when you don't have all the answers. You must trust that what he has planned for you is far greater than what you could ever plan for yourself. Every breakthrough, every miracle, every great achievement begins with a step of faith. The people who accomplish extraordinary things in life are not necessarily the most talented, the most educated, or the most qualified. They are the ones who dared to trust God completely. They are the ones who refused to let fear stop them. They are the ones who kept moving forward even when everything in them wanted to quit. So the question is, will you take the step? Will you trust God enough to move forward even when the future is unclear? Will you walk by faith, not by sight? The door to your destiny will not open until you take that first step. The blessings that are meant for you will not come if you remain stuck in doubt. Faith requires action. Faith requires courage. Faith requires stepping out of the boat, even when the waves are high. Do not let fear hold you back any longer. Do not let doubt keep you from the life you were meant to live. Step forward. Move in faith. Trust that God is leading you exactly where you need to be. Because when you walk in faith, you will see doors open that you never could have opened on your own. You will witness breakthroughs that seemed impossible. You will experience a peace that cannot be shaken because you will know that you are exactly where you are meant to be. God has called you for something greater. He has prepared the way, but He is waiting for you to take the first step. Move forward in faith and watch how everything begins to fall into place.